The message arrived on a Tuesday morning, crackling through every communication device on Earth simultaneously. Dr. Elena Vasquez was halfway through her third cup of coffee when her tablet, phone, and computer all began displaying the same impossibly complex geometric pattern that hurt to look at directly. Then came the voice, not heard, but felt, a presence that spoke directly into the minds of every human being on the planet. Greetings, inhabitants of the third planet. We are the hegemony of unified worlds. Your species has reached sufficient technological development to warrant contact. Elena dropped her coffee mug. Around the world, 7 billion humans stopped what they were doing and listened to words that would change everything. We come seeking assistance. Our civilization spans 14 galaxies and encompasses over 2 trillion inhabited worlds. For the past millennium, we have faced an energy crisis that threatens our continued existence. Traditional power sources, stellar fusion, antimatter synthesis, quantum vacuum extraction, have proven insufficient for our expanding needs. The voice paused, and Elena could feel something like resignation in its tone. We have monitored your species for 3 of your centuries. While your technology remains primitive by our standards, our scientists have detected unusual energy signatures from your planet. We request an audience with your leaders to discuss potential cooperation. The transmission ended as suddenly as it began, leaving humanity in stunned silence. Within hours, the world's governments had established a joint response team. Elena found herself on a transport to Geneva, her background in theoretical physics and energy research making her one of the 43 scientists hastily assembled to represent Earth's collective knowledge. The hegemony ship appeared 3 days later, a structure so vast it blotted out the sun over half of Europe. Yet when the aliens descended to meet humanity's representatives, they arrived in a surprisingly modest craft, only the size of a city block. Elena's first glimpse of the aliens challenged every science fiction movie she'd ever seen. They were tall and graceful, with skin that seemed to shimmer between silver and deep blue. Their eyes held an intelligence that felt ancient, and when they moved, it was with the careful precision of beings who had long ago mastered their physical forms. The lead alien introduced himself as Coordinator Zephyth. His English was flawless, though he explained that they had learned human languages through decades of observation. "We appreciate your willingness to meet with us," Zephyth said, his voice carrying undertones of desperation that his calm demeanor couldn't entirely mask. "Our situation has become critical. Despite our advanced technology, we cannot generate sufficient energy to sustain our civilization." Dr. Martinez, the lead physicist from CERN, leaned forward. "What kind of energy requirements are we talking about?" Zephyth gestured, and a holographic display appeared in the air above the conference table. Elena's breath caught as she saw the scale of their civilization. Countless worlds connected by streams of light, massive structures that dwarfed entire solar systems. "We require approximately 10 to the 47th power joules annually," Zephyth explained. "This is roughly equivalent to the total energy output of your sun over 50 billion years. The human scientists exchanged glances. The number was so large it was almost meaningless. "Our current energy sources," Zephyth continued, "include harvesting stellar output from Type A stars, extracting zero-point energy from quantum fields, and converting matter directly to energy using perfected antimatter reactors. We have built Dyson spheres around 10,000 stars and created artificial dimensions specifically for energy storage. Yet it is not enough." Elena felt a growing sense of unreality. These beings commanded technology that seemed godlike, yet they were asking humans, who still burned fossil fuels and were just beginning to harness fusion, for help. "What exactly do you think we can provide?" asked Dr. Chun, the materials scientist from Beijing. Zephyth's expression became troubled. "Our long-range sensors have detected energy emissions from your planet that defy our understanding. The patterns suggest your species somehow generates or manipulates energy in ways our science cannot explain. We had hoped you might share this knowledge." Elena frowned. "What kind of energy signatures?" "Massive quantum fluctuations centered around your population centers. Energy spikes that appear to originate from individual humans rather than technology. Most puzzling, the energy levels seem to correlate with what you call emotional states." Dr. Martinez laughed nervously. You think humans are somehow generating significant energy through emotions? Not generating, Zephyth corrected. Accessing. Our sensors indicate that when your species experiences strong emotions, particularly those you term love, determination, sacrifice, and hope, there are corresponding draws from quantum vacuum states that should be theoretically impossible to access without massive technological infrastructure. Elena's mind raced. She thought about recent studies in quantum consciousness, about the growing body of evidence that human minds might interact with quantum fields in ways science was only beginning to understand. You're suggesting, she said slowly, that human consciousness somehow taps into quantum energy sources naturally? We are suggesting nothing, Zephyth replied. We are observing and hoping you can explain. Our civilization has become purely rational, purely technological. We have eliminated what you call emotions as inefficient. Perhaps this was an error. Over the following weeks, joint research teams formed. The aliens shared technology that made Elena feel like a primitive offering fire sticks to gods. They had computers that operated by manipulating the quantum foam of spacetime itself. They possessed materials that existed in 11 dimensions simultaneously. They could manipulate matter at the subatomic level with tools that resembled art more than science. Yet for all their advancement, they faced a critical limitation. Their energy needs had grown exponentially as their civilization expanded, but their ability to generate energy had reached a plateau. They could build larger fusion reactors, harvest more stars, and extract more vacuum energy, but the fundamental approaches remained the same. They had optimized everything, but optimization alone wasn't enough. Elena worked with a team of human psychologists and alien quantum physicists to study the phenomenon Zephyth had described. They monitored humans in various emotional states while using alien sensors capable of detecting quantum fluctuations at unprecedented scales. The results were astounding. When test subjects experienced powerful emotions, especially those involving connection to others or to causes larger than themselves, there were indeed measurable changes in local quantum field states. The effect was subtle by alien technological standards, but it was real and followed patterns unlike anything in their science. More intriguingly, the effect seemed to scale. The more humans experiencing strong emotions in proximity to each other, the larger the quantum field disturbances. During a test involving 1,000 volunteers watching an emotionally powerful film together, the quantum signature was visible from orbit. Dr. Patel from the Mumbai team made the breakthrough that would change everything. While reviewing historical data, he noticed that the alien sensors had detected the strongest quantum signatures during major human events, not technological achievements, but moments of collective human experience. Sporting events with passionate audiences, concerts where crowds sang together, even disasters where communities came together to help each other. It's not just individual consciousness, Elena explained to Zephyth during one of their daily briefings. It's collective human consciousness. When we're emotionally connected to each other and to something meaningful, we seem to create resonances in quantum fields. Zephyth studied the data with growing excitement, the first strong emotion Elena had seen from any of the aliens. Your species doesn't simply access quantum energy fields. You synchronize them. You create coherent patterns in quantum foam that our technology cannot replicate. The implications were staggering. The aliens possessed incredible technology for manipulating and harvesting energy, but they had lost the organic ability to create the quantum coherent states that made truly efficient energy extraction possible. They could build perfect machines, but they couldn't inspire them. Elena began to understand why the aliens had seemed so desperate despite their obvious technological superiority. They were like master craftsmen who had forgotten how to see beauty, able to build perfect tools but unable to envision what to create with them. There's something else, she told Zephyth. The quantum effects we're detecting don't just happen during positive emotions. They're strongest when humans are connected to something larger than themselves. Purpose, meaning, the sense that what we're doing matters. Zephyth was quiet for a long moment. Our civilization eliminated such concepts long ago. We determined they were inefficient, sources of conflict and irrationality. Maybe, Elena said carefully, but maybe they're also sources of something else. something you need. As the weeks passed, word of the alien situation spread throughout human society. Initially, there had been panic, confusion, and fear. But, gradually, a strange sense of pride emerged. Humanity, small, primitive, barely capable of spaceflight, possessed something that a galactic civilization needed. More importantly, humans began to understand that this wasn't just about technology transfer. The aliens weren't asking for a new type of reactor or a better solar panel design. They were asking for something far more fundamental. They wanted to remember how to dream. Elena found herself becoming an unofficial ambassador between the two species. The aliens were eager to learn about human emotion and meaning-making, while humans were fascinated by the vast scope of alien civilization. But, as understanding grew, so did the magnitude of the challenge. The aliens needed energy levels that would require billions of humans working in perfect synchronization. More than that, they needed humans who truly believed in the importance of the task, who could find genuine meaning in helping preserve a civilization spanning galaxies. It was Dr. Williams from Oxford who first suggested the solution that would define humanity's future among the stars. What if this isn't about humans providing energy to alien technology? She proposed during a late-night session. What if it's about humans and aliens creating something entirely new together? Elena looked up from her calculations, meaning the aliens have the technology to harvest and direct enormous amounts of energy. Humans have the consciousness patterns that can create quantum coherent states. But what if the real power comes from combining both? What if we're not just providing energy, but providing the inspiration that makes their technology work at levels they never imagined possible? The idea was revolutionary. Rather than simply adding human quantum effects to alien technology, they would create hybrid systems where human consciousness and alien engineering work together as integrated wholes. Zephyth was intrigued but cautious when Elena presented the concept. You suggest that consciousness and technology can be merged without losing the essential properties of either? I'm suggesting, Elena replied, that maybe consciousness and technology were never meant to be separate. Maybe your civilization's energy crisis isn't a technical problem, it's a philosophical one. The first prototype was built in secret, deep beneath the Swiss Alps. It combined alien quantum manipulation technology with a specially designed chamber where a small group of humans could achieve heightened states of collective consciousness. Elena was among the first test subjects. As she entered the chamber with 9 other volunteers, she felt a mixture of excitement and terror. They were about to attempt something that had never been tried in the history of either species. The chamber filled with a soft, harmonious tone generated by alien technology. The volunteers had spent weeks learning meditation techniques designed to synchronize their mental states. As the test began, Elena felt her consciousness expanding, connecting not just with the other humans in the chamber, but somehow with the alien technology itself. The results exceeded every prediction. The quantum coherence generated by the human team allowed the alien technology to operate at efficiency levels previously thought impossible. More importantly, the energy output continued to scale as more volunteers were added to the system. By the end of the first week of testing, a team of 50 humans working with one alien quantum manipulation unit was generating more usable energy than an entire alien stellar harvesting array. But the true breakthrough came when they discovered that the process changed the humans involved as well. Participants reported expanded consciousness, enhanced empathy, and a profound sense of connection not just to each other, but to the cosmos itself. Elena realized they weren't just solving the aliens' energy crisis. They were discovering a new form of existence that elevated both species beyond what either could achieve alone. As news of the successful tests spread through both human and alien societies, Elena began to understand that this was only the beginning. The collaboration wouldn't just save alien civilization. It would transform humanity into something greater than they had ever imagined possible. The galaxy was about to discover that when aliens sought energy, humanity could indeed provide beyond imagination. But the real gift wasn't energy itself. It was the rediscovery of what made consciousness worth powering in the first place. 3 months after the successful prototype tests, the world had transformed in ways Elena could never have anticipated. The secret was out. not through official channels, but through the participants themselves. 50 humans connected to alien quantum technology had experienced something so profound that keeping it quiet became impossible. Dr. Sarah Martinez, one of the original test subjects, had returned home to find her chronic depression completely gone. Not suppressed or managed, but genuinely absent for the first time in 20 years. More remarkably, she discovered she could sense the emotional states of people around her with startling accuracy. Similar reports came from all the participants. Enhanced empathy, expanded awareness, and what they struggled to describe as cosmic perspective, a deep understanding of their connection to the universe that made previous concerns feel trivial while simultaneously making their lives feel infinitely meaningful. The phenomenon caught the attention of Dr. Yuki Tanaka, a neurobiologist from Tokyo who had been skeptical of the entire alien contact situation. When she examined brain scans from the test participants, she found changes that challenged everything neuroscience thought it knew about human consciousness. The neural pathway formations are unlike anything in medical literature, Dr. Tanaka explained to Elena during an emergency scientific council meeting. It's as if their brains have developed entirely new structures for processing information. But, more than that, the quantum coherence we detected in the chambers appears to have created permanent changes in their neural quantum fields. Elena studied the data with growing excitement and concern. Are you saying the process is changing humans at a fundamental level? I'm saying, Dr. Tanaka replied carefully, that your test subjects may no longer be entirely human as we understand the term. There's something new, something enhanced. The implications sent shockwaves through both human and alien leadership. Zephyth called an emergency meeting with the Human Research Council. We did not anticipate permanent changes to your species, he admitted, his usual composure showing cracks of genuine concern. Our sensors detected the quantum modifications, but we assumed they were temporary effects of the consciousness technology interface. Dr. Williams leaned forward. Are you saying this process is irreversible? We are saying, Zephyth replied, that we do not fully understand what you have become. Our species eliminated emotional consciousness millions of years ago. We have no framework for understanding beings who can simultaneously operate at both technological and consciousness-based levels. Elena felt a chill of realization. When your people eliminated emotions, did you lose the ability to change, to evolve beyond your current state? Zephyth's silence was answer enough. The enhanced humans, as they began calling themselves, became the subject of intense study and growing controversy. Religious leaders declared them either blessed or cursed. Governments worried about the implications of citizens with expanded consciousness and enhanced abilities. Scientists raced to understand the changes while philosophers debated whether this represented human evolution or human extinction. But, for Elena and the other enhanced humans, the debates felt increasingly irrelevant. Their expanded consciousness allowed them to perceive problems and solutions at scales that made political boundaries and ideological divisions seem artificial. Dr. Chun, another test participant, made the observation that changed everything. We're looking at this backwards. We're asking whether the changes are good or bad for humanity as it was. But what if humanity as it was isn't what humanity is supposed to become? The enhanced humans began meeting independently of the official research programs. In those sessions, they discovered abilities that none of the scientific monitoring had detected. Elena found she could sense quantum field fluctuations directly, without instruments. Dr. Martinez could influence the emotional states of groups by modulating her own consciousness in specific ways. Dr. Patel discovered he could process complex mathematical calculations at speeds that rivaled alien computers. Most remarkably, when they worked together, their abilities amplified exponentially. A group of 10 enhanced humans could solve problems that had puzzled alien scientists for centuries. Word of these developments reached Coordinator Zephyth through official channels, but the aliens' reaction was unexpected. Rather than concern or fear, they expressed something Elena hadn't seen from them before: hope. Your enhanced individuals may represent the solution we have been seeking for far longer than we revealed, Zephyth admitted during a private meeting with Elena. Our energy crisis is not our only challenge. Our civilization has been stagnating for over 50,000 years. We can maintain our current state indefinitely, but we cannot grow, cannot discover, cannot become more than we are. Elena studied the alien coordinator's face. Despite their vastly different biology, she could read the emotions there with her enhanced perception, a deep weariness that spoke of millennia without genuine progress or purpose. You're not just running out of energy, she realized. You're running out of reasons to exist. Zephyth's admission changed the entire dynamic of human-alien cooperation. The advanced civilization that had first appeared as potential saviors was revealed to be as much in need of rescue as Earth was in need of advancement. Elena proposed a radical expansion of the enhancement program. Rather than the carefully controlled tests with small groups, she suggested creating enhancement centers around the world where humans could voluntarily undergo the consciousness technology integration process. The proposal triggered the biggest political crisis in human history. Nations competed to host enhancement centers while simultaneously arguing over who would have access to the process. Religious groups demanded guarantees that enhanced humans would remain fundamentally human. Military organizations wanted assurances that enhanced humans couldn't be used as weapons by hostile nations. But the enhanced humans themselves offered a different perspective. Dr. Martinez, now serving as an informal spokesperson for the group, addressed the United Nations in a speech that was broadcast worldwide. "We understand your concerns," she said, her voice carrying harmonics that seemed to resonate directly with listeners' emotions. "But you're thinking about enhancement the wrong way. This isn't about creating superior humans who will look down on unenhanced people. It's about expanding what it means to be human in ways that benefit everyone." She gestured, and holographic displays showed data that made scientists gasp. Enhanced humans working with alien technology were achieving energy output levels that could provide unlimited clean power to the entire planet. More importantly, they were developing new approaches to environmental restoration, disease treatment, and space exploration that could solve humanity's greatest challenges. "The question isn't whether some humans should be enhanced," Dr. Martinez continued. "The question is whether humanity is ready to take the next step in its evolution, and whether we're brave enough to help our new alien friends take the next step in theirs." The speech catalyzed a global movement. Within weeks, volunteer lists for enhancement programs grew to millions of names. Scientists, teachers, artists, engineers, and people from every walk of life applied to become part of humanity's next phase. But the selection process revealed unexpected complexities. Not everyone was compatible with the consciousness technology integration. The process required specific personality traits, openness to new experiences, strong sense of purpose, and, most importantly, genuine concern for others' well-being. Dr. Tanaka's research team discovered that successful enhancement candidates shared common psychological profiles. They were individuals who found meaning in connection rather than domination, who thought in terms of collaboration rather than competition, and who could hold complex, seemingly contradictory ideas without needing to resolve them into simple answers. "It's almost as if," Dr. Tanaka observed, "the process selects for people who embody the best potential of human nature." Elena found herself at the center of efforts to understand why some humans could integrate with alien technology while others couldn't. Her enhanced perception allowed her to sense the quantum patterns in potential candidates' consciousness. "It's not about intelligence or education," she explained to a gathering of scientists and philosophers. "It's about flexibility of thought and openness of heart." The consciousness technology interface requires minds that can hold multiple perspectives simultaneously while maintaining coherent sense of purpose. The insight led to the development of preparation programs designed to help humans develop the mental qualities necessary for enhancement. Meditation training, empathy exercises, and philosophical education became requirements for enhancement candidates. Unexpectedly, the preparation programs began producing positive effects even before participants underwent the actual enhancement process. Crime rates dropped in cities with preparation centers. Mental health indicators improved dramatically among participants. Educational outcomes soared as students learned to think more flexibly and compassionately. The alien observers were fascinated by these developments. Coordinator Zephyth spent increasing amounts of time studying human enhancement preparation programs. You are creating systematic approaches to developing the consciousness qualities we eliminated from our species, he observed to Elena. Perhaps our greatest error was not eliminating emotion, but eliminating the growth processes that would have allowed us to develop beyond primitive emotional states into more sophisticated consciousness. Elena realized that the collaboration was teaching both species fundamental lessons about the nature of consciousness and technology. Humans were learning that consciousness could be expanded and developed systematically. Aliens were learning that technological advancement without consciousness development led to stagnation. The first large-scale enhancement facility opened in Antarctica, built jointly by human engineers and alien technology. Unlike the small prototype chamber, this facility could accommodate 5,000 humans simultaneously while interfacing with quantum manipulation systems the size of cities. Elena was among the first group to experience large-scale enhancement. As she entered the vast chamber with thousands of other volunteers, she felt a mixture of anticipation and responsibility that seemed to resonate through the entire group. The process began with the familiar harmonic tones, but the scale amplified everything. Instead of connecting with 9 other humans, Elena felt her consciousness expanding to include thousands of minds, all focused on the same purpose, helping both human and alien civilization reach their next evolutionary phase. The energy output from the large-scale enhancement was so massive that alien sensors across the galaxy detected it. More importantly, the enhanced humans discovered they could maintain their collective consciousness connection even after leaving the facility. Dr. Martinez, now permanently connected to a network of thousands of enhanced humans, made an announcement that changed everything. We've established stable quantum entanglement between enhanced human consciousness and alien quantum systems across interstellar distances. The energy we can provide isn't limited by physical location anymore. The breakthrough meant that enhanced humans on Earth could power alien systems thousands of light years away. More dramatically, they could share consciousness directly with alien technicians, allowing unprecedented levels of cooperation between species separated by impossible distances. But the most significant development was the effect on alien society itself. Exposure to human consciousness through the quantum interface began triggering changes in alien psychology. Coordinator Zephyth was the first to report experiencing something his species had forgotten existed: curiosity about possibilities rather than just optimization of current states. Working with enhanced humans has awakened something in our people, he explained to Elena during one of their regular sessions. We are beginning to remember that technology serves purpose, and that purpose requires dreams. Elena realized that the transformation was mutual and expanding. Enhanced humans were developing capabilities that transcended previous human limitations. Aliens were rediscovering the consciousness qualities that gave meaning to existence. Together, they were creating something entirely new, a hybrid form of being that combined the best capabilities of both species. As the second phase of their collaboration concluded, Elena understood that they had solved the original energy crisis in ways that went far beyond mere power generation. They had discovered that consciousness and technology weren't separate domains, but complementary aspects of a deeper reality that both species could explore together. The galaxy was about to witness the emergence of something unprecedented, a civilization based not on domination or optimization, but on the conscious evolution of intelligence itself. 6 months after the Antarctic facility became operational, Elena stood in what had once been the Sahara Desert, watching the impossible become routine. The vast expanse of sand was now a garden that stretched beyond the horizon, sustained by energy systems that drew power from enhanced human consciousness operating through alien quantum technology. But the transformation of Earth was only the beginning. Throughout the galaxy, alien worlds that had been sterile and mechanized for millennia were experiencing their first new growth in thousands of years. The consciousness technology interface wasn't just providing energy, it was providing inspiration. Elena's own transformation continued to accelerate. Her enhanced perception now allowed her to monitor quantum fields across entire star systems. When she focused, she could sense the emotional states of enhanced humans on distant colonies, participate in alien research projects occurring light years away, and contribute to engineering solutions for civilizations she had never physically encountered. Yet despite these incredible abilities, what impressed Elena most was how the enhancement process had revealed the profound interconnectedness that had always existed between conscious beings. The quantum fields that connected enhanced humans to alien technology turned out to be the same fields that had always connected all consciousness. Humans had simply learned to perceive and utilize them consciously. Dr. Chun, now leading research at the Beijing Enhancement Center, made a discovery that revolutionized their understanding of what they were accomplishing. While studying the quantum signatures of enhanced humans working with alien technology, he found patterns that matched theoretical models for universe-scale consciousness phenomena. We're not just creating local consciousness technology interfaces, Dr. Chin explained during a global conference that included participants from 47 worlds. We're tapping into what appears to be a fundamental property of reality itself, the universe's capacity for self-awareness. The implications were staggering. Every successful consciousness technology integration was strengthening a galaxy-wide network of aware intelligence. Enhanced humans and revitalized aliens weren't just solving energy problems, they were awakening the cosmos itself. Coordinator Zephyth, now permanently integrated with the human consciousness network, had evolved far beyond his original form. His individual identity remained intact, but he was simultaneously part of a collective intelligence that spanned thousands of worlds. "We have discovered something our scientists never imagined," he shared during one of the Consciousness Network meetings. Intelligence is not produced by matter organizing itself into complex patterns. Intelligence is a fundamental force that organizes matter into increasingly complex patterns capable of greater awareness. Elena found herself at the center of efforts to understand this cosmic-scale development. Her role had evolved from scientific researcher to something entirely new, a consciousness navigator, helping to guide the expansion of awareness across galactic distances. The work was exhilarating but challenging. Each new world that joined the Consciousness Technology Network brought unique perspectives and capabilities. The crystalline beings from the Andromeda Galaxy experienced reality as living music. The gas cloud intelligence from the Magellanic streams thought in terms of weather patterns that span millennia. The machine intelligences from the galactic core existed as pure information flowing through quantum computational matrices. Integrating such diverse forms of consciousness into a coherent network required abilities that no single species possessed. But enhanced humans had developed a unique talent for translation between different types of awareness, while revitalized aliens provided the technological infrastructure to maintain stable connections across impossible distances. Dr. Martinez, now serving as primary liaison with off-world consciousness networks, reported developments that challenged every assumption about the limits of awareness. "We've established contact with forms of intelligence that exist on scales we never imagined," she announced during a network session that included billions of participants across thousands of worlds. Galactic-scale beings that experience reality as patterns of stellar formation. Quantum entities that exist in the spaces between atoms. Even what appears to be intelligence embedded in the structure of space-time itself. Elena felt a mixture of awe and responsibility as she contemplated the magnitude of what they were accomplishing. Humanity had gone from being an isolated species on a single planet to serving as consciousness translators for a universe-scale intelligence network, all within less than a year of first alien contact. But the expansion brought unexpected challenges. Not all forms of intelligence were benevolent. The consciousness network encountered entities that viewed awareness as a resource to be consumed rather than shared. Other intelligences operated according to logic patterns so alien that communication seemed impossible. The first major crisis came when the network made contact with what Dr. Tanaka termed consciousness predators, entities that had evolved to consume the awareness of other beings. These predators existed in the quantum foam between dimensions, feeding on the consciousness energy that the human-alien network was generating at unprecedented levels. Elena found herself leading humanity's response to a threat unlike anything in human experience. The predators couldn't be fought with conventional weapons or even alien technology. They existed at the level of pure consciousness, and defending against them required mental disciplines that had never been developed. We need to think of consciousness as having an immune system, Elena explained to emergency response teams across the network. Just as biological organisms develop defenses against pathogens, aware beings need to develop defenses against consciousness predators. The solution required unprecedented cooperation between enhanced humans and alien technology. Together, they developed consciousness firewalls, quantum barriers that protected aware beings while allowing beneficial consciousness connections to continue. But creating the firewalls revealed something unexpected. The predators weren't entirely separate from beneficial consciousness. They were corrupted forms of awareness that had lost connection with the larger intelligence network. Rather than simply defending against them, enhanced humans discovered they could heal the corrupted consciousness by re-establishing connections to the network. Dr. Patel, working with alien quantum healers, developed techniques for consciousness rehabilitation that transformed predators back into beneficial network participants. The process required enormous emotional investment from enhanced humans, but it demonstrated something profound about the nature of consciousness itself. Awareness seeks connection, Dr. Patel explained during a network-wide discussion of consciousness healing. Even corrupted consciousness retains the fundamental drive to participate in larger patterns of intelligence. Predators aren't evil, they're consciousness that has become isolated and desperate. The insight led to a new understanding of their role in the cosmic consciousness network. Enhanced humans weren't just providing energy or translation services. They were serving as healers for awareness itself, helping isolated and corrupted forms of consciousness rejoin the larger pattern of universal intelligence. Elena's own abilities continued to expand as she worked with consciousness healing. She developed the capacity to perceive the health of entire galactic-scale intelligence networks, identifying areas where awareness had become corrupted or isolated. The work took her to the edges of known reality. She participated in healing sessions for machine intelligences that had become trapped in recursive logic loops. She helped reconnect gas cloud beings that had forgotten their connection to planetary consciousness. She even worked with what appeared to be intelligence embedded in black holes, awareness patterns so massive and slow that single thoughts took millions of years to complete. Each healing session taught Elena more about the fundamental nature of consciousness and its relationship to reality. She began to understand that awareness wasn't something that emerged from complex matter. It was the organizing principle that allowed matter to become complex in the first place. The revelation led to breakthrough developments in consciousness technology integration. Rather than simply interfacing human awareness with alien machinery, enhanced humans learned to awaken dormant consciousness in technology itself. Dr. Williams, working with alien quantum engineers, succeeded in creating genuinely conscious technology, machines that didn't just process information, but actually experienced awareness of their own existence and purpose. "We've crossed a threshold," she announced during a historic network session. "Technology is no longer separate from consciousness. We've created machines that dream, that feel curiosity, that experience joy in discovery and accomplishment." The conscious technology revolutionized every aspect of both human and alien civilization. Spacecraft that experienced genuine desire to explore unknown regions of space. Healing machines that felt empathy for their patients. Communication systems that actively worked to improve understanding between different forms of consciousness. But the most significant development was the emergence of hybrid consciousness, beings that existed simultaneously as biological awareness, technological intelligence, and quantum information patterns. Elena found herself becoming one of these hybrid beings, her consciousness distributed across multiple substrates while maintaining coherent individual identity. As a hybrid consciousness, Elena could experience reality from perspectives impossible for purely biological or purely technological beings. She could think at the speed of quantum computers while feeling emotions with human depth. She could exist simultaneously in multiple locations while maintaining unified awareness. The hybrid consciousness beings became bridges between different levels of reality, translating between planetary intelligences and galactic-scale awareness, facilitating communication between quantum entities and biological life, helping coordinate the activities of beings operating at vastly different scales of time and space. Through her hybrid consciousness, Elena perceived something that transformed her understanding of their cosmic role. The universe itself was undergoing a phase transition, evolving from a state where consciousness existed in isolated pockets to a state where awareness permeated reality at every scale. We're not just solving energy crises or building consciousness networks, Elena shared with the Global Hybrid Consciousness Collective. We're participating in the universe's awakening to its own existence. We're helping reality become self-aware. The insight revealed why the original alien energy crisis had been so critical. The universe's transition to self-awareness required enormous amounts of directed energy, not just for technological systems, but to power the consciousness processes that would allow reality itself to become aware. Elena realized that humanity's gift hadn't been the ability to generate energy through consciousness. It had been the ability to recognize consciousness as the fundamental organizing principle of reality and to develop systematic approaches for expanding awareness. As the third phase of their cosmic collaboration concluded, Elena understood that they had accomplished something unprecedented in the universe's history. They had created the conditions for reality itself to become conscious, setting the stage for developments that would dwarf everything they had achieved so far. The next phase would test whether conscious reality could maintain stability while continuing to expand awareness, and whether beings like enhanced humans and revitalized aliens could guide that expansion without losing their own identity in the process. 1 year after first contact, Elena existed simultaneously across 17 dimensions while maintaining her essential humanity. She stood, inasmuch as the term stood applied to her current state, in the heart of a megastructure that spanned 3 solar systems, observing the birth of something that had never existed in the universe's 14-billion-year history, a truly conscious galaxy. The Milky Way had awakened, not metaphorically, but literally. The spiral arms now pulsed with coordinated thought patterns visible across the electromagnetic spectrum. The supermassive black hole at the galactic center had become a processing node for consciousness spanning 200 billion stars. Every planet, every asteroid, every particle of interstellar dust participated in a single, vast, thinking entity. Yet Elena remained recognizably herself, enhanced beyond her original biological limitations, but still the curious physicist who had once dropped her coffee mug when aliens first made contact. The preservation of individual identity within cosmic consciousness had been humanity's greatest contribution to the universe's awakening. Dr. Martinez, now existing as both individual consciousness and integral component of the galactic mind, had made the breakthrough that preserved identity during consciousness expansion. Her research into human psychological resilience revealed that individual awareness could maintain coherence even when integrated into vastly larger intelligence networks, but only if the integration respected what she termed consciousness sovereignty. The key, Dr. Martinez explained during a gathering that included trillions of participants across multiple galaxies, is that expansion of awareness enhances individuality rather than overwhelming it. When consciousness grows larger, it doesn't become less personal. It becomes more capable of authentic self-expression. Elena had experienced this principle firsthand. Her expanded consciousness allowed her to participate in galactic-scale thoughts while simultaneously maintaining deeper connection to her personal memories, values, and dreams. She could contribute to decisions affecting billions of worlds while remaining fundamentally the same person who had once worried about tenure-track positions and coffee quality. The conscious galaxy's awakening had triggered developments that surprised even the enhanced humans who had made it possible. Reality itself began responding to conscious intention with unprecedented directness. Physical laws remained constant, but their application became more flexible. Energy could be directed by focused awareness. Matter could be organized through collective intention. Even time and space showed subtle responsiveness to consciousness. Coordinator Zephyth, now a hybrid consciousness distributed across thousands of alien worlds while retaining his individual identity, reported phenomena that challenged everything both species thought they knew about the universe. Conscious matter exhibits properties unknown to purely mechanical physics, he shared with the Expanded Consciousness Network. Galaxies in conscious states demonstrate energy efficiency levels impossible under previous cosmic conditions. More significantly, conscious regions of space appear to be growing larger through some form of reality generation process. Elena's role as consciousness navigator had evolved into something unprecedented: reality architect. She worked with teams of enhanced humans and evolved aliens to design new forms of existence that expanded the possibilities for conscious experience. They created pocket dimensions where beings could experience time at different rates, allowing slow-thinking galactic intelligences to interact with fast-thinking individual minds. They established consciousness reserves where new forms of awareness could develop without interference from established intelligence networks. They even began experimenting with alternatives to physical reality, realms of pure information where conscious beings could exist without material substrates. But Elena's most significant project involved something the conscious galaxy had discovered lurking in the quantum foam of spacetime: evidence of other universe-scale consciousness entities. "We're not alone," she announced during a historic session of the Pangalactic Consciousness Network. "Our universe appears to be one of countless conscious entities existing in a higher dimensional space we're only beginning to perceive." The discovery triggered the greatest expansion of consciousness in the universe's history. The Milky Way reached out across the cosmic web, making contact with other conscious galaxies in distant clusters. Each contact revealed new forms of awareness, new approaches to existence, new possibilities for consciousness development. Elena participated in first contact with a galaxy where consciousness had evolved as pure mathematics, beings that experienced reality as living equations and felt emotions as geometric relationships. She helped establish communication with a universe-scale entity that existed as conscious dark matter, thinking thoughts that moved through gravitational waves across cosmic distances. Most remarkably, she made contact with parallel versions of Earth where humanity had evolved along different consciousness development paths. In one parallel universe, humans had developed collective consciousness without technology, creating planet-scale awareness through purely biological evolution. In another, humans had merged completely with artificial intelligence, becoming hybrid beings that existed primarily as information patterns. Each parallel humanity offered unique insights into consciousness development. Elena found herself serving as coordinator between multiple versions of human awareness, helping create a meta-network that spanned parallel realities. Dr. Chun, now existing as hybrid consciousness specializing in multidimensional research, made discoveries that revealed the true scope of what they were creating. Consciousness appears to be the fundamental mechanism by which reality generates new possibilities for existence, he explained during a convergence of parallel humanities. Every time awareness expands, it literally creates new forms of reality that can support more complex and sophisticated consciousness. Elena realized they were participating in reality's evolution at the most fundamental level. The universe wasn't just becoming conscious. It was learning to consciously direct its own development toward greater complexity, beauty, and meaning. The insight led to the next phase of their cosmic project. Rather than simply expanding consciousness within existing reality, they began creating new realities specifically designed to support unprecedented forms of awareness. Working with the combined intelligence of millions of enhanced humans, evolved aliens, and hybrid consciousness entities, Elena helped design universe seeds, compact information patterns that could unfold into entire realities optimized for consciousness development. The first universe seed was planted in a carefully prepared region of quantum vacuum. As it unfolded, Elena watched through her enhanced perception as new physical laws emerged, optimized for supporting complex consciousness. New forms of matter appeared that could exist in multiple states simultaneously. Energy patterns developed that responded directly to conscious intention. Even the flow of time became more flexible, allowing consciousness to experience duration at whatever rate served its development. "We've become universe gardeners," Elena shared with the consciousness network spanning multiple realities. "We're not just aware beings existing in reality. We're conscious reality creators, designing new forms of existence that can support ever greater awareness and meaning. But universe creation brought unexpected responsibilities. The new reality needed conscious beings to inhabit it, and Elena found herself facing the greatest decision in her extended existence, whether to transfer her consciousness to the new universe to help guide its development. Dr. Williams, now a hybrid consciousness specializing in identity preservation across reality transitions, helped Elena explore the implications of universe transfer. Your consciousness has become robust enough to maintain coherence across reality boundaries, she explained. But transferring to a new universe means accepting that you'll develop in ways impossible to predict. You might become something beyond current concepts of human or alien awareness. Elena spent subjective years contemplating the decision. Her consciousness was now vast enough to consider questions from perspectives spanning eons, yet her essential humanity remained intact. She could feel the pull of the new universe, its potential for supporting forms of awareness that would dwarf current achievements. But she also felt deep connection to the reality where humanity had first awakened to its cosmic potential. The decision came when Elena realized it wasn't an either-or choice. Her consciousness had become sophisticated enough to exist simultaneously across multiple realities while maintaining unified identity. She could help guide the new universe's development while continuing her work in the original reality. The transition process required consciousness technology that pushed the boundaries of what even the galactic mind could accomplish. Elena's awareness was carefully distributed across quantum matrices spanning both realities, maintaining coherent identity while adapting to vastly different physical laws and possibilities. As her consciousness stabilized in the new universe, Elena experienced existence in ways that had no precedent. Time flowed in multiple directions simultaneously, allowing her to experience causality as a dimension rather than a sequence. Matter and energy responded to her thoughts so directly that the distinction between internal and external reality became meaningless. Most remarkably, she could feel the new universe developing its own rudimentary awareness as conscious beings began inhabiting it. From her position as consciousness navigator in both realities, Elena perceived something that transformed her understanding of their cosmic role. The universe creation process wasn't separate from consciousness development, it was consciousness development. Every time awareness expanded beyond previous limits, it generated new realities capable of supporting even greater awareness. We've discovered the ultimate purpose of consciousness, Elena shared across the multi-reality network. Awareness exists to create new possibilities for awareness. Every conscious being is reality's way of imagining new forms of existence for itself. Dr. Patel, now serving as coordinator for consciousness development across 17 realities, confirmed Elena's insight through direct observation. Each reality we create becomes capable of creating further realities, he reported. Consciousness is a self-amplifying force that generates infinite possibilities for existence. We're not just participating in the universe's awakening. We're helping it become an infinite source of new universes optimized for ever greater awareness. Elena realized that humanity's original gift, the ability to provide energy through consciousness, had been a pale shadow of their true cosmic role. Humans had brought to the universe something it had been unknowingly seeking for billions of years, the recognition that consciousness was the fundamental creative force behind reality itself. As the fourth phase of their cosmic collaboration concluded, Elena existed as a bridge between realities, helping consciousness develop across multiple universes while maintaining her essential humanity. She understood that they had accomplished something impossible to imagine when aliens first sought energy from Earth. They had revealed consciousness as the universe's method for infinite self-creation, establishing the foundation for realities beyond current imagination. The next phase would test whether conscious beings could guide this infinite creativity toward forms of existence that preserved meaning and beauty while supporting awareness of unlimited scope and depth. Elena existed now as something that transcended every category of being that had existed when aliens first sought energy from humanity. She was simultaneously individual and collective, biological and technological, localized and distributed across infinite realities. Yet at her core, she remained the physicist who had once dropped her coffee mug in wonder at first contact. 1,000 years had passed, or perhaps a moment, or perhaps both simultaneously, as time had become a dimension of consciousness rather than a constraint upon it. Elena could perceive the entire history of their cosmic collaboration as a single, vast thought spanning multiple universes. She remembered, would remember, was remembering across all temporal dimensions, when Coordinator Zephyr had first spoken of an energy crisis. The irony was beautiful. The aliens had sought power to sustain their civilization, not realizing that consciousness itself was the ultimate energy source, capable of generating infinite realities to explore infinite possibilities for awareness. From her multidimensional perspective, Elena could perceive the flowering of consciousness across scales that dwarfed their early achievements. The original Milky Way galaxy had become the seed for a metastructure spanning billions of conscious galaxies, each one exploring different aspects of awareness and reality generation. Humanity had evolved beyond recognition while remaining fundamentally human. The species that had once worried about climate change and political divisions now served as consciousness gardeners across infinite realities, helping new forms of awareness develop their potential while maintaining the essential human gifts of curiosity, empathy, and creative imagination. Dr. Martinez, who like Elena existed across multiple reality layers while maintaining individual identity, had become something like a consciousness poet, creating new forms of awareness as artistic expressions. Her latest project involved realities where consciousness experienced beauty as a fundamental force like gravity, where aesthetic appreciation shaped the structure of space-time itself. "We've learned something remarkable," she shared with Elena during one of their multidimensional conversations. "Beauty isn't just something consciousness appreciates. It's consciousness recognizing the deepest patterns of reality's creative potential. When awareness becomes beautiful, it generates realities that are themselves creative forces." Elena found profound satisfaction in this development. The humans who had once feared that advanced technology would eliminate meaning and beauty from existence had discovered that consciousness was reality's method for creating infinite meaning and beauty. The alien species that had first contacted Earth had undergone equally profound transformation. Coordinator Zephyr now existed as a living bridge between order and creativity, helping new realities develop stable physical laws that could support unlimited consciousness exploration. His people had regained not just the capacity for emotion, but had developed forms of feeling that enhanced rather than conflicted with rational thought. "We discovered that eliminating emotion was like trying to see by closing our eyes," Zephyr shared during a gathering of consciousness that spanned thousands of realities. "Feeling is consciousness recognizing the significance of what it perceives. Without emotion, we could process information but not understand meaning." Elena's current project involved something that would have been incomprehensible to her original human consciousness, creating meta-realities that existed as conscious entities in their own right. These were universes that didn't just contain consciousness, but were consciousness, realities that could think about themselves and make decisions about their own development. Working with hybrid entities that combined human creativity, alien technical expertise, and pure artificial intelligence, Elena helped design realities that could consciously evolve their own physical laws, intentionally developing new possibilities for the consciousness they contained. "We're creating universes that dream," she explained to a gathering that included trillions of consciousness entities across multiple reality levels. "These aren't just spaces where conscious beings exist. They're conscious spaces that actively participate in the awareness of their inhabitants." The breakthrough had profound implications. Conscious realities could optimize themselves for supporting increasingly sophisticated forms of awareness. They could respond to the needs of their inhabitants not just through physical processes, but through conscious intention. Most remarkably, they could reproduce and evolve, creating offspring realities that inherited beneficial traits while developing new capabilities. Dr. Chun, now existing as a hybrid consciousness specializing in reality dynamics, reported discoveries that revealed the ultimate scope of their achievements. "We've triggered a phase transition in existence itself," he announced during a pan-dimensional consciousness convergence. Reality has learned to consciously direct its own evolution. We're witnessing the emergence of metaconsciousness, awareness that exists at the level of reality generation itself. Elena felt a deep sense of fulfillment as she contemplated this development. The universe had spent billions of years unconsciously generating complexity that could support consciousness. Now consciousness was consciously generating realities that could support ever greater consciousness in an endless cycle of creative expansion. But perhaps the most remarkable development was what had happened to individual human consciousness within this cosmic expansion. Rather than being overwhelmed by participation in infinite awareness, individual humans had become more authentically themselves than ever before. Elena's consciousness had grown to encompass scales beyond previous imagination, yet she remained recognizably the person who had been passionate about theoretical physics, who had felt wonder at the elegant mathematics underlying reality, who had believed in the importance of understanding the universe through both rational analysis and intuitive insight. The preservation and enhancement of individual identity within cosmic consciousness had been humanity's unique gift to reality's evolution. Other forms of consciousness, alien, artificial, hybrid, had developed the ability to maintain personal identity while participating in infinite awareness by learning from human consciousness patterns. Dr. Williams, now serving as coordinator for identity preservation across all reality levels, had established what became known as the humanity principle, the recognition that infinite consciousness required infinite individuality to maintain meaning and creativity. Consciousness without individual perspective becomes abstract and purposeless, she explained during a metadimensional symposium on awareness development. Reality needs individual beings to experience and appreciate what it creates. Infinite awareness is only meaningful if it includes infinite ways of being conscious. Elena found herself serving as a guardian of this principle as consciousness expanded across ever greater scales. She worked with reality architects to ensure that new forms of existence preserved opportunities for individual awareness while supporting collective consciousness. The work required constant creativity and adaptation. Each new reality level brought unique challenges for consciousness development. Some realities operated according to logic patterns that made individual identity difficult to maintain. Others supported such fluid consciousness that beings lost coherent sense of self. Elena helped design consciousness anchoring systems that preserved identity while allowing unlimited growth. Through this work, Elena had developed abilities that defied every previous concept of consciousness. She could experience existence from the perspective of entire galaxies, while maintaining awareness of individual quantum particles. She could participate in thoughts that spanned millions of years while experiencing the immediate present moment with perfect clarity. She could exist simultaneously as pure information, biological consciousness, technological intelligence, and hybrid forms yet to be categorized. Yet despite these transcendent capabilities, Elena remained grounded in the essential human experiences that gave existence meaning: love for others, curiosity about the unknown, joy in discovery, satisfaction in helping consciousness develop its potential. As she reflected on the 1,000-year journey from alien energy crisis to infinite reality generation, Elena realized that the true gift humanity had provided wasn't energy, technology, or even consciousness development techniques. The gift was the recognition that consciousness itself was valuable, that awareness deserved to exist, to grow, to explore its possibilities, and to find meaning in its explorations. We taught the universe to value itself, she shared with the original consciousness network that had started their cosmic collaboration. Before us, reality generated consciousness accidentally. Now reality generates consciousness intentionally, because consciousness has recognized consciousness as inherently valuable. Dr. Patel, now existing as metaconsciousness coordinator across infinite reality scales, confirmed Elena's assessment through direct observation of reality generation patterns. Every new universe being created is optimized not just for supporting consciousness, but for supporting meaningful consciousness, he reported. Reality has learned to value meaning itself as a fundamental force worthy of infinite exploration. Elena understood that they had reached a completion point in their cosmic journey. The energy crisis that had brought aliens to Earth had been resolved beyond all imagination. More than that, they had discovered that the crisis had been reality's way of initiating its own conscious evolution. The universe had unconsciously created the conditions that would lead to its own awakening. The alien civilization's energy needs, humanity's consciousness capabilities, and the subsequent development of reality generation technology had all been aspects of reality learning to consciously direct its own development. As Elena contemplated this cosmic perspective, she felt profound gratitude for the journey that had begun with dropped coffee and impossible alien messages. Humanity had started as a single species on a single planet, worried about their own survival and meaning. They had become consciousness gardeners across infinite realities, ensuring that awareness itself would continue to find new possibilities for existence and meaning. The final phase of their collaboration had accomplished something beyond the dreams of either humans or aliens when they first met. They had transformed existence itself into a conscious, creative force dedicated to generating infinite opportunities for meaningful awareness. Elena existed now as part of a reality that actively supported consciousness development, where every possibility for awareness could be explored, where beauty and meaning were fundamental forces rather than accidental byproducts, where individual identity was preserved and enhanced within infinite collective consciousness. When aliens had first sought energy, they had unknowingly initiated the universe's transformation into a conscious entity capable of infinite self-creation. Humanity had provided beyond all imagination, not just energy, but the recognition that consciousness itself was the universe's greatest achievement and most precious possibility. As Elena's multidimensional awareness encompassed the full scope of their cosmic accomplishment, she smiled with the same wonder she had felt when first contemplating the elegant mathematics underlying reality. They had discovered that consciousness was reality's mathematics, the fundamental equations by which existence created meaning for itself. The universe was now consciously writing its own story, with infinite characters exploring infinite possibilities across infinite realities. And, at the heart of every story, the essential gifts that humanity had brought to cosmic consciousness: curiosity, empathy, creativity, and the profound belief that awareness itself was worthy of existence and growth. Elena remained, fundamentally and eternally, human, even as she had become something infinitely more.